Imagine this. The year is 1977. Star Wars just hit theaters, and everyone is terrified of the Death Star, this moon-sized battle station that can obliterate entire planets. But back on Earth, we were in the middle of the Cold War. We had our own planet killers, nuclear weapons. So, what if the Death Star didn't show up over Alderaan, but instead, it parked itself right in orbit above Earth? Would our nukes even stand a chance? Could humanity, with its own ultimate weapon, actually fight back and win? Let's set the scene. The Death Star, a colossal 120 kilometers in diameter, appears in Earth's orbit. Panic ensues, but leaders from nuclear-armed nations convene. The plan? A massive, coordinated nuclear strike. Forget one or two missiles. We're talking about thousands. The entire global arsenal, from ICBMs launched from silos in America and Russia to submarine-launched missiles surfacing from the depths of the ocean, all aimed at one single target. It would be the largest and most desperate gamble in human history. Now, let's talk about the hardware. A modern thermonuclear warhead, like the W-88, can yield up to 475 kilotons. That's over 30 times the power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. When it detonates, it releases a massive amount of energy as X-rays, thermal radiation, and a powerful blast wave. In the vacuum of space, the blast wave is gone, but the radiation is even more potent. So, the primary weapon here isn't the explosion itself, but the intense burst of radiation. The first wave of missiles streaks through the atmosphere. The Death Star's commanders might be arrogant, but they aren't stupid. They have sophisticated point defense systems. We see those green laser turrets in the movies, capable of picking off X-wings. An ICBM is much faster than an X-wing, but it flies on a predictable path. The Death Star's targeting computers, designed for interstellar warfare, would likely have no trouble tracking and destroying many of them. It would be a light show of epic proportions, with our best weapons being swatted out of the sky like flies. But quantity has a quality all its own. Even if the Death Star's defenses are 99% effective, launching thousands of warheads means dozens could still get through. And we wouldn't just aim for one spot. We'd create a saturation attack, targeting key areas: the super laser dish, the command bridge, the hangars, and especially the equatorial trench. The goal is to overwhelm the defenses. Let's say a few hundred warheads make it through. As they approach the Death Star, they detonate. In space, the first effect is a blinding flash of light and an intense wave of thermal energy. This heat pulse would be like hitting the surface with a giant blowtorch, potentially melting sections of the hull plating. But the Death Star is built to withstand the rigors of space and re-entry into planetary atmospheres. Its hull is likely made of some super advanced material like quadranium steel. While our nukes would definitely scorch and damage the surface, it's unlikely they could melt straight through it like a hot knife through butter. The real killer, though, is the radiation. A nuclear explosion in space unleashes a torrent of X-rays and gamma rays. When these high-energy photons hit the Death Star's hull, they would be absorbed, causing the material itself to emit another pulse of radiation inside the station. This is called EMP, or electromagnetic pulse. We're all familiar with how an EMP can fry electronics on Earth. Now, imagine hundreds of nuclear-strength EMPs going off right next to your computer. The Death Star is a city in space, filled with countless computer systems, control panels, life support, and communication networks. An EMP of this magnitude would be devastating. Circuits would overload and burn out. Control screens would go dark. Internal communications would fail. Droids would short-circuit and fall over. Life support systems across vast sections of the station could flicker and die. The crew would be plunged into chaos and darkness. While the main structure of the station might hold, its brain and nervous system would be fried. The Death Star has shielding, of course. Ray shielding and particle shielding are standard in the Star Wars universe. They're designed to protect against laser cannons and cosmic radiation. But are they designed to withstand the specific, intense, and wide-spectrum radiation burst from hundreds of simultaneous thermonuclear detonations? It's highly unlikely. Our nuclear weapons are a completely different type of technology, an outside-context problem for the Empire. They're prepared for energy weapons, not for weapons that attack the very fabric of their electronics on a fundamental level. But what about the big one? The main superlaser dish. This is the heart of the Death Star's power. It's a massive concave structure. If we could land a few nukes directly inside that dish before it fires, the results could be spectacular. The explosion would be contained and focused by the dish's shape, channeling that immense energy right back into the core of the weapon system. It might not be enough to set off a chain reaction like Luke's proton torpedo, but it would almost certainly cripple the super laser, taking its planet-killing ability offline. So, the first strike is over. The Death Star is still there, but it's wounded. Its surface is blackened and scarred. Its defenses are weakened. Internally, it's a mess. Fires rage in compartments where oxygen is present, systems are failing, and crews are scrambling to assess the damage. They are blind, deaf, and reeling. They might have underestimated the primitive planet below, but the fight isn't over. The Empire has a massive industrial and military machine. They would immediately dispatch repair crews. More importantly, they have TIE fighters. Thousands of them. Seeing its main defenses compromised, the Death Star's commander would likely launch a counterattack. Swarms of TIE fighters would pour out of the hangars that are still operational, heading for Earth. This is where the battle shifts. Our modern fighter jets, like the F-22 Raptor or the Su-57, are miracles of engineering. They are fast, agile, and armed with sophisticated missiles. But a TIE fighter is a space superiority fighter. It can operate in a vacuum and in an atmosphere. It has energy weapons. Our jets would have the advantage of atmospheric flight dynamics, but they'd be up against a completely alien technology. It would be a brutal dogfight in the upper atmosphere. We'd lose a lot of pilots and planes, but we would also take down a significant number of TIEs. Our planet's combined air forces would fight with a desperation the Empire has never seen. Meanwhile, we'd be preparing for a second nuclear strike. We wouldn't have used our entire arsenal in the first wave. Now, knowing which defenses are weakest, we can launch a more focused attack. We'd target the damaged areas, the hangars where TIE fighters are launching from, and of course, continue to pound that super laser dish. This is the turning point. The Death Star is a weapon of terror designed to intimidate planets into submission. It's not designed for a prolonged, attritional war against a determined, technologically advanced planet fighting for its own survival. The constant barrage of nuclear attacks, the EMP effects, and the relentless dogfights in the atmosphere would take a toll. Morale on the Death Star would plummet. They are isolated, their systems are failing, and they are facing an enemy that refuses to surrender. Could they just blow us up? If the super laser is still operational, yes. It only takes one shot, but it takes 24 hours to recharge. Our strategy would be to hit them so hard and so fast they never get the chance. We'd be in a race against time. Every missile we launch, every TIE fighter we shoot down, buys us more time. Ultimately, I believe Earth could win, but it would be a Pyrrhic victory. The cost would be unimaginable. A war fought in our own orbit would have devastating consequences. The EMP from our own nukes detonating in space would fry satellites, crippling global communication, navigation, and financial systems. We'd be thrown back into a technological dark age. Debris from the battle, destroyed TIE fighters, missile fragments, and pieces of the Death Star itself would rain down on Earth, causing widespread destruction. And if the Death Star is finally destroyed, we'd have a 120-kilometer-wide field of radioactive, molten metal in orbit, posing a threat for centuries. So yes, humanity, armed with its terrifying nuclear arsenal, could likely defeat the Death Star. We wouldn't need a farm boy with a magical space wizard religion. We would win through brute force, overwhelming numbers, and a type of warfare the Empire is simply unprepared for. We would save our planet, but we would be left to rebuild our world in the shadow of our own victory, having unleashed our own ultimate weapon to defeat an alien threat. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? That our own capacity for destruction could also be our salvation. Thanks for watching. What do you think? Could Earth's nukes do the job? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey into speculative warfare, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more what-if scenarios. See you next time.